very grateful to be here. I am nervous because usually I'm just talking to myself in the shed, so bear with me as we go along. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I got into American football a few years ago, about 4 years ago, right? To be honest, I started off as a Cleveland Browns fan, but once Deshaun Watson signed, we'll say no more, that was it. And I was getting into American football. It was something that I wanted to get into, that for myself, just to have something that I could be passionate about, and it is a sport that's grown hugely in Ireland. And when I was looking after the Cleveland situation for a team to pick, I had friends that were on Twitter that were Bills Mafia, and to be honest, it was a season of 13-second game. And I'm a very passionate man, I'm a Mayo man, and I'm a Mayo man that Rick here knows. We've been through a lot of heartache at All-Ireland finals and getting there and not crossing the line for whatever reasons. So I watched that game, and it was very easy to go and say I'd be a Kansas City Chiefs fan or I'd be a 49ers fan. But the thing that stood out for me that night as the thing that I believe in as part to me was Josh Allen. The way he was on the sidelines, the way he was leading his team, the way he kept coming back and trying to find a way to win it. And it doesn't happen. In life, things don't happen. But on that night, that was me looking at this guy and going, I follow him anywhere. And since that night, and I became a Buffalo Bills fan, I decided then I'd like to grow the Buffalo Bills, if I could in any little way. They're not a huge following in Ireland, but I said we'd have a go at the YouTube crap. And it's, the very first show, and to be honest, I'm nervous here now because I'm talking to people, but it was like that. But once you get used to setting in and talking to a screen, it becomes a little easier as time. And I met a lot of friends along the way, and that's my whole purpose of doing this, is to make friends and follow the Buffalo Bills. It's been a very enjoyable ride so far, and hopefully there's more enjoyment to come from it. But watching the Buffalo players and watching especially Josh Allen, how he's from the West Coast, but he's integrated himself into Buffalo as part of Buffalo. And if you want to pick a moment in a game of football to say, well, is he a leader or isn't he a leader? You go back to the Texans game 2 weeks ago, when the man was knocked out, he missed one play and he got back in. Other quarterbacks, other players could say, hell no, I'm take my paycheck and I go. So that for me shows what he thinks of Buffalo. The Buffalo fans, I see them, I know them, I'm blessed to be brought here by them. Show me that this is a place that loves their community, and the players love the community that they're in as well. So that's my little piece about being a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm going to pass you over to Kate Schroeder. She's going to explain how I got it.
This was divine intervention, I think, or guided by angels. So most of the people in this room know us, but the anniversary of our son Matthew's death is Monday. And normally I would be in the house this weekend and not be out doing anything because I'd be sad, etc., etc., etc. So the story starts the weekend of Matthew's funeral. It was the first time that the Bills played in London. And so I had everybody over the day after the funeral to my house because I had food coming out of my ears to watch the game. And all the friends and family were there, and I'm, oh, we're going to win, Matt's in heaven, this is definitely win for the Bills. Well, no, EJ Manuel got hurt and they lost by 2 points, and I got more worried about the fact that my son was getting kicked out of heaven and breaking things. Sorry. So fast forward 8 years, And last year we decided to go to the Bills game in honor of Matthew to watch them play. And of course they're going to win because we're going. And it's my husband and I, and my son Michael, who's here, and my daughter Allison and her husband. And we had a great time. I had cousins come over from Ireland to spend the weekend with us and had a great time. And I'm walking down the street. I don't even know what street it was in London. And I see this. And I went, holy cow, that's the greatest shirt. Where'd you get this shirt? Well, I made it myself. He goes, I'm from Mayo and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, this is great, this is great. Blah, blah, blah. We should bring you to Buffalo someday. Completely being facetious. I'm only going to bring somebody out from Ireland, whatever. So I just kind of let it go. And I watched his podcast and I followed him. Well, about 3 months ago, at his daughter's urging, he joined Facebook because his daughter told him that there's more people on Facebook your age, Dad, than there are what you're trying to reach. So he requested me. And what some of you may not know is that we are raising Matt's daughter. And she's lived with us now for the last 7.5, 8 years. So when he friend requested me, we met him. He was Trevor, I was Kate, he was Mark. That was it. I get this friend request, Trevor Marley. And my hair stood on end, and I went to Mark and I said, this is meant to be. I said, this is absolutely meant to be. We have to bring him here. He's like, Kate, how are you gonna? I said, I don't know. I'm not gonna. And then we had to figure out the game. The only game we could figure out was the 20th. And he goes, Matt's anniversary is on Monday. I said, Matt does not want us to be sad. He doesn't want us to be sad anymore. So we're not going to be sad. We're going to celebrate, and we're going to bring Trevor to Buffalo. He's going to make his wishes come true, and that's what we did.
Kate, make it clear, his name is Trevor Marley.
Trevor Marley.
And closer. And with that, Kate and myself have worked to get here, and I'm very appreciative of everything and everyone that has put their efforts into bringing me here. Especially like to thank the sponsors. So there's Mark and Kate Schroeder, and they've looked after me since I got here and brought me everywhere, and we've had some amazing trips. We were at the stadium today, it's awesome. The new stadium going up is going to be something else. We were at Niagara Falls yesterday, and the game tomorrow, and I'm like a child in the candy shop. I can't wait. I'd also like to thank Billy Murphy. I'd also like to thank Michael Mead from Sullivan's Brewery.
Michael's here.
Down there. Eric Bowen from Ellicott Development. Made of the Mist at Niagara Falls. And Tim Flanagan, President of the Buffalo Irish Think Tank. Thank you all so very, very much. It means so much because this is something I thought London would be as close as I would ever see the Bills play. But to be here, especially the stadium, like Highmark Stadium, has such a history. And in 2 years' time, I know the new stadium will be open. But to be able to say I was in it, and whatever happens to it in the future, you can always say I was there. It's something very special to be able to say. So thank you very much. I could say thank you all night. It wouldn't be enough thank yous, but thank you all from the bottom of my heart. What I normally do in my podcast is I do a preview of the games and who I think will win. Now, some of the picks might not be favourable in here, and some of the picks do be wrong. So I've had very bad weeks, but I'm going to go off last week where I got 13 out of 14 right. So it might not happen this weekend. So normally I talk about the games. The Broncos and the Saints, they were on Thursday night. I watched it. I didn't think the Saints would get blown out the way they did, but the Broncos seem to be going forward the correct way. Sunday, the Patriots are playing the Jaguars in London and Wembley. Now, when I got into the NFL, there was two particular groups in Ireland. There was called Pro Football Ireland, and there was Gaelic Gridiron. These two guys, Michael McQuaid is Pro Football Ireland, and he's got Mark Hogan with him, and Jimmy English is Gaelic Gridiron. They are growing at the NFL in Ireland. and they are responsible for, at the minute, the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to have a game in Ireland either next year or the year after, or going out with the NFL. So I follow these guys. I got to know them. They've been on my show and I've been on their shows, and they are very, very good people and good at what they do. On this particular weekend, the Pro Football Ireland are over covering the Patriots and the Jaguars game, or trying to be. But in Ireland at the minute there's a bad storm on the west coast, and there's a fear that it's going to go across and might affect plane journeys to England. So it'll be interesting to see can they get there. Now, for my pick, you're not going to like this, but I think the Patriots are going to beat the Jaguars. The only reason I think it is, I was listening to a podcast during the week, and they reckon that whether the Jaguars win or not, that Doug Henderson is gone. There's going to be a change bet there. You take into Trevor Lawrence, he got a big contract, he's a bit injured, he's not coming back right. They don't seem to be a team that's clicking. Now, the Patriots aren't any better, but they brought in Drake May, and Drake May seems to be a lot better than Jacoby Brissett, and on that particular reason, that's the reason I'm picking the Patriots. Then we have the Bengals against the Browns. So, anyone's going to pick the Bengals if Joe Burrow, even though their defense isn't great, against Deshaun Watson, who gets bottled and put down the ground every game many times. So it's a divisional game and it'll be a hard win, but I do think the Bengals will win. We go then to another divisional game. It's the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 5-0. They're themselves and the Chiefs are the only two teams undefeated. I never thought you could say Sam Darnold would be part of an undefeated team, but you have to take your hat off to him. He's gone along the NFL the long way and the hard way, and he's now with a team that nobody thought he would be playing in, and it shows you that if you keep trying, things will be successful, and he's doing a great job at them. Saying that, normally you would pick the Lions because they are flying it. Dan Campbell is doing a mighty job. Jared Goff is playing brilliant. They have Amon Ross St. Brown, they have Montgomery. But the reason I'm not picking the Lions this weekend is because Aidan Hutchinson is in it. And he, up to week 6, was one of the defensive players of the year, but he's out for the season, and I don't know whether they'll be able to replace him or not. And on that reason, for this weekend, I go for the Vikings. Then we have the Seahawks at the Falcons. The Falcons are a team that could be 5-1 or 6-0 in their games. The ones they've lost have been very tight. The Seahawks had a good start, but when they ran into the Giants, I think the wheels came off. Kirk Cousins has a lot of weapons. Bijan Robinson, he has Pitts, he has Drake London. They have a lot to throw at and run with, and for that reason I'm going with the Falcons. The next game up is the Titans at the Bills. Now, don't have to worry, there's no weird pick coming in here, because I'll pick the Bills in any game. When I was reading this morning, there is a question mark over Will Levis. I hope he does play, but there's a shoulder injury, he might not play. Jarius Sneed, who was one of the defenders of the year at the Chiefs last year, went to the Titans on a huge contract. He's questionable too, but I was reading that things aren't very happy in that camp, and he's not a very happy man at the Titans, even though he's getting paid money. Now they do have weapons, and they have John Hopkins. There is rumours that he could be traded, and the Chiefs might come in for him, but whether that happens or not, time will tell, but he'll be there tomorrow. On our side, I have 100% faith in this man all day, every day. It's why I'm a Buffalo Bills fan with Josh Allen. There was a story that the glove is off, so hopefully he's back to full fitness. Another story that means a lot to me is seeing Damar Hamlin play. Because as long as I live, I'll never forget that night in Cincinnati. I was at home watching it. And that was the season the Bills were tipped by a lot of pundits to be Super Bowl champions. When that happened, for me, it was more important that Damar Hamlin was alive and okay than winning the Super Bowl. On that moment, the Super Bowl didn't matter, and it didn't matter for the rest of the season because what Damar Hamlin had to go through, what the players and coaches, family members, staff all had to go through, you couldn't ask a team. They did rise for him, but it was never going to be as a normal season with what happened when a player almost loses his life and has to recover. And for Damar Hamlin coming back and now being the starter of Buffalo Bills, it's an amazing story in itself. And it shows his determination to make sure he got right and could get back in the field with everything that happened. So, seeing him, I've seen him in London, he didn't play last year, but I've seen him off the pitch. It was a very special moment, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play tomorrow as well. James Cook is supposed to be back fit and healthy. Ray James is a question mark about. And then Ed Oliver is back. We've signed Amari Cooper, and I think that's a brilliant thing. It will help Keon Coleman, it will help Curtis Samuel, it will help Kahil Shakir. And Kahil Shakir is a player that I have total admiration for. He went from being third choice. In my eyes, he's the man. Because any ball is thrown to him, it sticks. He'll hold on to it, he doesn't drop it, and he'll get you scoring positions if he can. Then on our defense, Terrell Bernard, Sharon Johnson, and Jaquan Jones, they are three big players. AJ Epinesa is playing brilliantly this year. And looking at the game, you can only see a Buffalo win. I'm not being cocky, I don't write off the Titans. I just think that being here is going to be the day I'm going to see the win. I really think so. Now, I'll go to the picks quickly and then I'll wrap things up. The next game is a huge game. It's the Texans and the Packers. We should have beaten the Texans a couple of weeks ago. We were in bother at half time and we made the changes and things went well and we got it level. It should have stayed level and it should have went to overtime. And it did. Good things happen and we move on. They looked well against the Patriots last week. Our former player, Stephon Diggs, he seems to be happy enough there. I'm also happy that he's not here. So, I think the dressing room is a happier place. I think Josh Allen is a happier man. I think Sean McDermott is a happier coach. So you will be more successful if you're happy than if you're not. And I think just with him, I wish him well, but I am happy that he's on the Houston. And I put tomorrow, they're playing Jordan Love and the Packers. It'll be a tough game. Well, they have Mixon back and running back. And because they're Mixon back, I think the Texans will beat the Packers. Then we have our lovely friends, the Dolphins, there at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, if anyone wondered how important Tua Tagovailoa was to the Miami Dolphins, it's showing now. Because they have all the weapons that you could wish for as wide receivers, as running backs. They have, four of the best of them there, and yet they can't do anything without the quarterback. Now, again, as the rumours were going, I was reading during the week that they're looking at bringing in Kyler Murray from the Cardinals. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But in this game, I'm taking the Colts. Anthony Richardson back at quarterback. They have Taylor at running back. I'm not sure if he's fit or not. But they have a team that were looking to lose the Jags with Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco played very well. With Richardson back, and he's in the next position, and I'm with Tua missing from the Dolphins. I'm picking the Colts in that. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Giants. Now this is the Saquon Barkley derby. He went from the Giants to the Eagles. Brian Dable, I think, is under a bit of pressure. The Eagles are under a bit of pressure too. It's a big, huge game for them. But I think that David and the Giants will get the victory. I think they'll be hungry enough to say, come on, this is what you're missing and you should be here. But time will tell. Then we have the Panthers and the Commanders. Andy Dalton's made a difference since he was in the quarterback at the Panthers, but Jalen Daniels and the Commanders are a team that will be there or thereabouts going into the season. Turning the corner is playing out of his skin since he went since Jalen Daniels came in, and they just look like a team that will upset the bigger team in the division. Then the big game Sunday night is the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. And this is a repeat of last year's Super Bowl. The Chiefs are winning, they're 5-0, but they're not looking too good. The 49ers are 3-3, but Brock Purdy is playing probably his best football. And I think Jarvis and McCaffrey, but I do think that the 49ers at home have revenge to show them, firstly, that they shouldn't have lost the Super Bowl last year. It was in their hands, they did, but that they're better than the Chiefs. And I think that's something like just the way the teams are today, that they'll give the Chiefs their first loss.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Then we have my favourite team, is the New York Jets and the Steelers. Now, I know they're a divisional rival, but my dislike for them is their quarterback. He likes to believe that he's always right and that everyone else is wrong. And even last weekend when he threw the interception against the Bills, it was a wide receiver that was wrong, not his throw. Now they have got Devontae Adams, and years ago at the Green Bay Packers, they were brilliant. But time has moved on, they have moved on, and it's not to say that they will be brilliant again. I think that the Jets are a team that if they don't get out into the playoffs this year, it will be a total rebuild. And I hope that happens. And I also hope it happens because I think, and I could be wrong, that Aaron Rodgers thinks he's Tom Brady and he's better than Tom Brady. Tom Brady might not be a favourite here, but Tom Brady has rings. Aaron Rodgers does not. He has one, but he doesn't have as many rings as. Tom Brady always put his team first before he put himself first. I know what Josh Allen does here. Josh Allen could command the contract as big as anybody. Josh Allen would rather see his team do well and have players around him than get paid big and just play out the season. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, likes to be a man that likes to be chased, likes to be big. Now, they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. T.J. Watt and the Steelers defense flew out of the gates. I had the other part I was talking about Ireland again in Gridiron there in Pittsburgh this weekend at the Steelers game. And because of that, because I want the Steelers to win against the Jets, I'm going for the Steelers. And there's only two games left, the Ravens and the Buccaneers. It could be a very tight game. But you have Lamar Jackson and you have Derrick Henry. They're two of the best players in the NFL at the minute. Last year I felt that Josh Allen should have not been beaten by which Lamar. But in fairness, this season Lamar Jackson, he's rightly up there with Josh, going for MVP because he is playing very good football. They did teach us a lesson a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but the good thing about the taught lessons is you learn. If you learn from a lesson, you get them again next time. When I used to play football at home, if a forward beat me in the game, I've always played for Max. He didn't beat me a second time. He find a way to make sure if he meets again, it doesn't happen. And I'm going for the Baltimore Ravens at that. And the last game then was the Chargers and the Cardinals. And the Cardinals started off good. They gave us an awfully fright in the first half of the very first game. But we tweaked things and things as well. They came back and they hammered the Rams, but things have fallen away since. And the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, he is a tough team. He's getting the best out of Justin Herbert. They're ticking along nicely. I just think that they will win the game on one tonight. And that's my picks for the weekend. So, before I finish and wrap up, I'd like to thank everyone here for coming firstly. I very much appreciate it. This is a beautiful town, and the same when I landed here, I used to have mountains, green fields, some of them mainly rushes to a lot of farm, good, quiet places, sheep, cattle and so on. You see the vast buildings and so on, it makes you feel nervous. But when I walked through this door Thursday night, and I looked over there at the stage, it just made me feel like I was at home. It reminded me of our own little community centre where I'm from. And the people here have just made me feel like I am at home. So I'd like to thank every single one that I've met, the people that have helped me, and I am so very grateful. I'll wrap things up now. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you all stay safe and are happy. And we watch the game tomorrow, we get the win, and as always, go Bills.